Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to do a short video on restoring your fan shroud and fan for your early air-cooled Porsche. So I've had a little bit of a run on these lately, and some of the issues I'm finding, I think would really be appropriate to do a video on this, because there's some things to look out for on these when you pull them off your engine. You're getting ready to do an expensive rebuild. Do we want to restore these? Do we just want to clean them up? Or do we need to replace them? And I'll show you exactly what to look out for, why we would want to replace them. And then also we're going to take a close-up look of a fully restored set right here. And then also I have got some printouts of an early technical bulletin regarding alternators for these guys, and a crossover parts list. This is some information I acquired during some extensive research trying to sort this one out for Vic in California. Vic is restoring a beautiful 77 930 turbo, and this is what he sent me originally, was this guy. Turns out this is not the correct Porsche part number here, but it would work on his car, but it's not the correct one. But there was other issues with this where we want to take a closer look up and see why I recommended it. We didn't go with it. We actually sourced out the correct part number for his car, which is on this one. This one was a real nice donor. We cleaned this one up, restored it. We'll take a look at some before and after pictures there. And then also restored the fan. So his fan was correct for the shroud, but the shroud is not really correct for the car. And you know, in my view, it's just my view. You know, when you lift the engine deck lid on these Porsches, the most beautiful thing that's staring you right in the face is this shroud and that fan. So to me, that's got to be right. That has to look nice and clean. We try to do it here with a Cerakote and try to look as non-outside of the box as original. But when they originally cast, they have a lot of casting flaws in here, fan and shroud. Some of these were aluminum, some of them were magnesium, and a lot of casting flaws. And so what happens is the casting flaws, over time, they pick up moisture. You have deterioration around the edges of your fan blades. You can have pitting inside the inner area here, and also some cracks in here you wouldn't normally think that would be there, but they're there. All these things need to be considered. So we're going to take a look at some crossover data numbers, and we'll take a look at this technical bulletin on alternators and see if we can sort this out. That way, if you're going to do a shroud or a fan restoration or both, you're on the right track, or at least you can eliminate all the research and wonder if you should replace it or whether it's worth restoring. Okay, well, let's start with Vic's original fan shroud that he had sent to me. And so what Vic did, he reached out to me. Somebody had previously done the Cerakote work for him, and he wasn't entirely happy with it, just wanted me to have a look at it and give him my thoughts. So I had him send both parts to me, and this is what I found. So we look up close here, everything that's marked in tape. You can see some cracking, and more cracking up in here. A lot of stress happening with this guy here. Okay, trying to get things to focus here. And then look, we got more stress cracks in there. We've got more cracks in here. Just the whole thing was just put under a lot of stress and strain at some point. And for me, I'm just thinking, you know, we're going to do all this work. Is it really worth spending the money on this guy, putting it back on the car, and going with it, because it may be some problems. So I'm not really sure what happened here. I think whoever had an alternator in here at one point, it was not the correct alternator. It put a lot of stress on these holes here, and these have been reamed out to fit an alternator that I don't think was correct for the car, but they made it fit the shroud because all these holes are kind of reamed out and angled. So there's been a little bit of molesting going on there to try and get some alternator on this particular fan shroud at some point during its life. So it's just not worth taking the risk on that. And anyhow, we got a new one. Let's take a look at the new one So I'll put some pictures in here of what this guy looked like when he sent it to me. We found this one on eBay. This is the correct part number. Okay, and this one would be interchangeable with this one, part number wise. They would both work. This is for a later car than Vic's. This is a later part number. And as far as I can see, everything measures out the same. The only difference would be this notch here on the pulley, whereas this one doesn't have a notch. The earlier one doesn't have a notch. So they must have gone with like a larger pulley or something going on down below that needed a little extra room. Now, so if you needed this one here, you could go ahead and just notch that out, and this one would go and work just fine. And the main thing is it's structurally sound and the correct donor part. So when I Cerakote these, I take off back down to bare metal all the high spots where it mounts to the base of the engine case. All right, so here's a contact area. I'm not trying to flatten all this out and make it look beautiful. I'm not trying to reshape it. All I want to do is hit the high spots. So we got bare metal to bare metal on the engine case, so we get good grounding so our alternator charges properly. Also, where the alternator meets up with the surface here, we're back down to bare metal there too. I mask all this off and make sure that we have good grounding contact. And then also I like to refinish the hardware on there. There's this one here, was just Cerakoted. Had Vic gone with this, he would probably have some grounding issues. We're not bare metal here, we're just Cerakoted. And also you can see the base hasn't been scraped away there. So not taking these back down to bare metal under contact could be an issue. Also, I don't recommend, let's say you want to do a restoration, you're considering powder coat. I would definitely not recommend powder coating these, because powder coating is just too thick. So if you powder coated your shroud and you powder coated your fan, the tolerance from your fan blade to the inner side of your shroud is so tight. It's like a ½ millimeter. It's really, really tight. And the buildup along your edges with powder coat, I don't think it would work. You could end up with some problems there. But this is one that we had completely refinished. I'm going to stick some photos in, and we'll take a look at those, and I'll just kind of walk you through it. So what we did here is there was some extensive casting modeling in the blades. And the previous guy who did the Cerakote just media blasted it and Cerakoted everything, including the hub. It just didn't really look that great. He also did it in like a silver, which, you know, whether you like silver or not, I'm not sure, but this looks more like a natural magnesium color. So how we got rid of all the modeling in here and all the pitting on the edges and behind the blades here, I went ahead and filled these in with POR 15. Then what I do after I media blast, we go ahead and hand sand the area, take off all the little nibs and any kind of imperfections on it, clean it up real good, and then coat this blade or any deep flaws with a POR 15, a couple coats, really build it up, and then block sand it down flat. Okay, and that's what it shows there in the picture. And then after we finish block sanding, take it back into the sandblasting tank and just lightly profile it with our media so that our Cerakote sticks properly. And as you can see, it cleans up pretty well. So we're able to save this fan, make it look nice without the expense of buying a new fan. Definitely a much better way to go here in this case. And then Joe from Renaissance, I always send everything out to him. He does the rivet service on it. He's got a jig and a press, and he has mastered putting these rivets in. A DIY guy can do this himself, but there's so much work in refinishing the casting and electroplating the hub. By the time you put it all together, if you have just one slip of you're hitting it, or your jig gets off, scratches something, you're taking it all back to the beginning again and starting over. This is why I send it to Joe. I don't have to worry about it. It's a correct profile on the rivet on the backside. Everything's nice and tight the way it should be. And Bix, I think, is going to be real happy with that on his 930. And then also at the same time, I like to do the outer hub, the alternator nut and alternator washer in a matching same color, so everything looks the same when you put it together. One of the things I found out in my research that depending on your year and your fan part number, these hubs were different. They had different angle here, they had different spacing here. Some of that data is going to be in the sheet as to what size your hub was here, what size the pulley was down below, and all the different things that took place. Your alternator depth from here, the tip of your alternator spindle is very specific. It has to be just right. Otherwise, the inside of your blade is not going to be in proper alignment. So it's good to cross-reference, make sure you got the right alternator with the right shroud and the right fan for the right car, and everything is just right, you're going to be good to go. Okay, so here's another one a fellow sent to me from back east. We decided not to go with this. He just wanted the fan shroud done. We were going to media blast this, Cerakoted in a darker finish. But the problem with this one, when I got it and looked at it, I'm thinking, okay, so we've had some issues here. The fan had dug in to the casting. Now, this is not a problem, but my thinking is, why did it dig in? I don't see any structural cracks in where the alternator was mounted anywhere on here. So it's definitely good enough from a structural standpoint, but you can also see up here in the top that we have a little, ever so slight, something scraped right there too. So our fan blade has been grinding into here. So how would this happen? Well, if this is mounted on the car and we're too tight with our shroud clamp, we over tighten, what we're going to do is we're going to compress this. We're going to drive this shroud into the fan blade. And also you've got torque. Well, if you've got a turbo, like in the case of Vic's car, his was a turbo, and that's probably why that shroud was torn to pieces, just a torque every time that turbo kicked in, just yanking on that hub. This also, to me, looks like it was just pulling, everything was pulling downwards as the fan blade was digging into here. Let's take a measurement and I'll show you how much crush this one actually had on it. Okay, so we're zeroed out here, and keep in mind these fans only have like 0.5 millimeter to maybe 1 millimeter max on clearance as they go around. If they have too much clearance, you're not going to get enough cooling to go through there. So it's the tight tolerance that really makes these fan shrouds work. I'm coming up with 254.82. A little bit extra there. Okay, so we've moved quite a bit. Now the question is, since it's out of round, do we go with it? Do we take a chance? Because in this case, this gentleman replaced and bought a new fan, and we were just going to restore just the shroud. But I couldn't guarantee that fan would fit the shroud after we did the work. In order to find that out, I would need the fan here, I would need the alternator here, would need to take some more measurements, mock the whole thing up, and find out for sure. But in the case of this one, he decided, well, let's just pass on it, and he sorts a new one from Porsche, so he's going to be in good shape. Won't have to worry about any kind of crush or anything out of round there. Okay, so here's a data sheet that I managed to find online. We can pause this. I'm trying to go real slow here so everything focuses. You can see what's going on. The one in highlight there is what we're using for Vic to make sure we got the right crossover parts. But you've got the millimeter diameter for your fan and how many blades they had on it. All the information's here, shroud part number, casting type, casting number, everything you need to know here, the alternator. And here's what really went wrong in these years. So they went from a 55 amp alternator to a 70 amp alternator. And that changed some dimensions a little bit with the alternators. So then shortly after the 70 came the 75 amp. So we had some 75 amp alternators coming to the market, and the guys were trying to make them fit and not quite fitting. So they're drilling out the 6 stud configuration, trying to open it up a little bit to get fan in there. In this crossover years that I had highlighted, there was a technical bulletin sent around by Porsche that talks about these model years and what happened with the early alternators and then going to the later alternator and how to make it work. There had to be some modifications to that whole area, some extra part numbers. You can pause this also and get what you need off of it. Or you can email me and I'll send you a hard copy of this. But anyhow, a lot of things have to take place if you want to switch out your alternator from the original one that came with it. There are original alternators that are still available for these cars, but if you go to the higher amperage alternator, there's some electrical things that need to be considered that you'll need to do to the car to make sure you don't blow things up onto your dashboard. Okay guys, so that's going to be it for the technical part of it. So let's go ahead take a look at my fan on my car. It's about 2 years old now, running full engine temperatures, and we'll see what does the Cerakote look like in finishing after 2 years. Okay, so we've got a little evening sunlight on it here, but you can see everything's holding up real nice. Cerakote looks good. And I've had this off of here at one time. I didn't have a ventilation hose hooked up properly to our intake coming off of the oil vent tube. And we were getting some fumes, some oil fumes in here, which were coating the blades and the inside of the shroud. So I just pull this nut, take it apart, clean it up with denatured alcohol. It cleans up really nice. No damage, no anything to the fan or the housing, and put it back together. In this case here, I had a base coat, clear coat on my shroud. I didn't do the Cerakote at that time. I just went with the base coat, clear coat here, and then the Cerakote on the fan on the inside. And it looks real nice and is held up really nice. And just showing you how tight everything is here, clearance-wise, from our shroud to our blades. Why everything has to be real precise. Doesn't leave you much room for any kind of crush or distortion that might be in the housing. So that's something you want to look out for, and you want to be careful of that if you're buying a used shroud on eBay or online. Have the guy measure it for you, make sure it measures correctly this way and that way, that we're round. If you're more than 1 millimeter out, it wouldn't be worth taking a chance, in my opinion. By the time you get everything put together, you could have an issue with your fan digging into your shroud. Okay, so there is your fan and fan shroud information. Hopefully something in here that's helpful for you in restoring that or considering restoring or replacing. I'm going to go ahead and put Joe's contact information in there. If you have a hub and you need to get it riveted, just go ahead and send it straight to Joe. Does an excellent job, and I highly recommend his service. If you need help in restoring your fan shroud, there's contact information for me down below. Go ahead and reach out and we'll get you taken care of. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.